Instead of relying on big cranes, the Gaussian ACM takes a more self-contained approach to moving containers. It is a self-propelled machine with a U-shaped music frame and a hydraulic lifting system which allows it to pick up, move, and place containers as part of one process. Public technical information says it works with ISO 20 feet containers and can manage loads up to 25 tons music or about 55,100. What makes it interesting is that it is not simply pulling containers from one place to another. The hydraulic U-frame lets the machine engage the container directly, lift it and move it across a site without depending on extra equipment like cranes, music bridge cranes or gant rise. That can be very useful in places where space is limited or where traffic routes, safety zones, and building layouts make container movement more complicated. The ACM has also been used in more specialized environments, which says a lot about the kind of work it can do. Public reporting connected it to EDF's Shinnan nuclear power plant, showing that it was used in a setting where control, safety, and repeatable music handling matter a great deal. Another point that gives the ACM some depth is that it does not seem to be a one-time concept. Gaussen said the machine delivered to Shinnan replaced an earlier ACM supplied in 2001 and the company reported that 12 units were operating by March 2018. Moving a yacht by road is a bit like trying to carry a whale on a hallway cart. It can be done, but only when the equipment is made for something that big and oddly shaped. That is what makes this modular low semi-trail interesting. It is not a standard trailer with a simple flat platform. It is a specialized transport unit made for yachts. Instead of treating the boat like regular freight, it works around the structure of the yacht itself. One of the main things that stand out is how adjustable the trailer is. The chassis can be extended and widened. The double side beam frame also helps keep the center area open, so supports and cradles can be placed where they are actually needed. That matters with yacht transport because the load is not uniform and support has to match the lines of the vessel. The front section uses a detachable neck with adjustable height which helps during loading and makes it easier to match the trailer to different tractors and support setups. The suspension setup plays a big role too, especially in places like marinas, port roads, yards, music, and tight turns. Hydraulic steering with radio control gives the operator better control in confined spaces, music, and the suspension system helps manage load balance and travel heights while the yacht is in motion. Let's talk about this 8x8 all-terrain vehicle made for travel in places where normal trucks would have a hard time getting through. It uses a turbo diesel engine with 170 horsepower and 443 pounds-feet of torque. That kind of setup matters because this vehicle is not about speed. It is more about having enough pulling power to music keep moving. Inside the equipment is practical and focused on real field use. It comes with LED headlights, Music 2 searchlights, heated windshield elements, heated front seats, heated side mirrors, a monitor music-equipped head unit, liquid heaters for both the cab and passenger section, and an hour meter. Music. What makes the Arktica interesting is how everything works together. The engine, tire system, drivetrain, and large insulated body all support the same goal: helping people, music and gear get across remote terrain in a wheeled vehicle that can carry a serious load. It uses a 5-speed manual transmission along with a 2-speed transfer case, so power can be managed better when the terrain gets difficult. The steering system is hydrostatic with power cylinders on the steerable axles, which helps control a machine this size. One of the most useful parts of the Arktica is its central tire inflation system. The driver can change tire pressure music depending on the surface, which helps a lot when moving from softer ground to firmer areas. Metro Trucks INT35 is a heavy wrecker made for serious towing with a 35-ton on-boom capacity, dual 44,000 pounds winches, and a 162 in cap to center of tandem steel body. It has the kind of setup operators look music for when they need strong lifting and pulling power on a regular basis. It comes with standard gear like frame fork holders, frame fork racks, chain racks, 4 sets of frame forks, manual controls on both sides, and safety chains. So, it arrives with the main equipment needed for daily work. Its boom is one of the main highlights. It can lift 77,000 pounds when retracted and 33,000 pounds when extended. The maximum lift angle is 45 degrees and it reaches a hook height of 267.7 in with 89 in of reach past the tailboard. The underlift also brings strong towing capability. Music: it can manage 35,274 pounds in the retracted music position at 83.9 in and 17,637 pounds in the music extended position at 148 inches. On top of that, music: the tire lift setup provides 24,912 pounds total, music, while the fifth wheel adapter adds more flexibility for certain towing jobs. In simple terms, the INT35 fits into that middle space between lighter integrated wreckers and much larger rotators. It gives fleets a strong option for truck tows, highway recoveries, and heavier roadside calls without stepping into the biggest category. Gaussen ATM is a yard tractor that moves trailers and semi-trailers around places like logistics centers and industrial sites. It is not meant for highway driving. Its job is to move heavy loads around private work areas where trailers need to be shifted or repositioned during daily operations. It uses a 4x2 driveline and 2 traction motors with a top speed of about 15.5 miles per hour. The payload is about 41.9 tons. There are 2 power versions. The battery electric model uses 2 swappable 55 kWh battery packs. The hydrogen version uses a 15 kW fuel cell, an 11 pounds hydrogen tank, and an extra 20 kWh battery. Both versions use the same modular electric music platform. This model also fits into a bigger picture. Gaussian connects the ATM38T with automated yard operations in gated logistics environments. Some machines do the quiet heavy lifting while everything else on site gets the attention. And this is one of them. The Bergmann C815S is the kind of dumper that comes in, carries a serious amount of material, music, tips it where it needs to go, and heads back for more without making a big show of it. It is a large articulated music side dumper made for moving things like soil, aggregate, spoil, demolition debris, and other construction material. What makes it stand out is the way it combines carrying capacity with maneuverability. Music: instead of acting like a regular truck, it bends through the middle, which helps it move through tighter spaces, music, and work areas where turning room can be limited. It also comes in 3 different body types, so the unloading style can match the job. The rear tip version works well when material only needs to be discharged behind the machine. Music: the 3-way tip version adds the option of placing material to either side, which can help when working along trenches or narrow access routes. It uses a 4-cylinder water-cooled Cummins music diesel engine. Top speed is about 25 miles per hour and the hydraulic articulated steering music allows 37 degrees of movement to each side. The chassis uses a leaf-sprung front axle and a rigid rear axle. A self-locking differential with a 45% locking value helps when extra grip is needed. Music. When a big festival event ends, there is often a lot left behind on the ground. That is the kind of work Eskes Cleaning seems to focus on. It appears to concentrate on cleaning large outdoor music event spaces such as festival fields and campsites. One of the most interesting parts of its work is the festival magnet. This is a magnetic cleanup machine used to pick up metal objects. Music that can include things like screws, tent stakes, coins, and small metal pieces. The machine uses magnets placed inside steel containers with wheels so it can move across the field while staying close to the surface. The unloading system also is practical. A lever lifts the magnetic part and the collected metal drops away from the bottom plates of the bins. Eskes Cleaning is also connected with other cleanup machines. The company mentions a large vacuum machine called Hermann's and a Widon-Tech MC3 event cleaner, which is a self-propelled tricycle vacuum for event grounds. What stands out first about the Jaylor TMR is its sheer size, music and mixing volume. This is a twin or vertical feed mixer used in large dairy and beef operations, where a lot of feed needs to be prepared in one load. It has a standard capacity of 1,125 cubic feet and with side extensions that grows to 1,295 cub feet depending on the extension height. The machine weighs about 23,100 lb and measures 318 in long. Some of the main details help explain how it works in day-to-day feeding. It uses 3/4 in or flighting, a square cut or design, and a welded mixing chamber. Current literature also mentions slide plate technology and tungsten carbide coated knives, which help the machine stay effective when working through dense or high fiber feed. It rides on a tandem walking beam with dual tires, has a maximum discharge height of 68 in, and uses a 36 in conveyor. In simple terms, this mixer takes large amounts of forage, grain, silage, and supplements and blends them into a more even ration. The twin vertical augers move the material upward and inward, folding everything together inside the chamber. The knives help break down longer forage so it mixes better with the rest of the load. That matters because a more consistent mix can help reduce sorting and keep the ration more uniform from start to finish. This is the kind of machine that looks like it would rather climb a mountain than sit still in a parking spot. It comes across as the sort of transporter that takes hard jobs very seriously. What makes it interesting is that it is not really about speed or flashy extras. It is more about control and the ability to keep moving when the work gets demanding. That is why it fits so well into farm work and municipal jobs where conditions can change a lot through the year. It sounds like a machine that is happiest when it has something heavy to move and a difficult route ahead. The way it works is pretty technical, but the idea behind it is simple. The engine focuses on strong pulling power at lower RPM, which helps when carrying loads. Instead of shifting through fixed gears, the Vario transmission changes speed continuously, so the driver has more control over how the machine moves. A little further into the details, the machine uses a 136 horsepower 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine. The chassis and suspension also play a big role in how this transporter feels in use. With hydropneumatic suspension on both axles, hydraulic rotation damping, and a longitudinal differential lock, it is set up to improve traction and stability. This machine is made to move heavy material through places where regular wheeled trucks can have a hard time working. It can carry up to 28,000 pounds or 14 tons. And one music of its most useful parts is the 360 degrees rotating upper frame. That means it can dump material in almost any direction without needing to move the tracks first. Music: it uses a Cummins Tier 4 final diesel engine with 320 horsepower. Music: it also uses an HST hydrostatic transmission with 2 music travel speeds, reaching 3.6 miles per hour in first gear and 6.8 miles per hour in music second gear. The hydraulic system is a big part of how this carrier does its job. It has dual drive pumps and maximum drive pump pressure of 6,90 lb per square in. In simpler terms, this gives the machine the power it needs for dumping and other job-specific attachments. It is a large machine measuring 20 feet long, 10 feet 11 in high, and 9 feet 8 in wide. Over the track's ground clearance is 24 music in. Operating weight with bed is 43,000 pounds. It also has a 58% music gradability figure equal to 30 degrees along with a 0 turn radius. For more music, the machine uses standard ISO joystick controls with integrated dump controls. Music: and it can be set up with different options such as a dump bed, rock bed, flat bed, spray boom, rotating upper structure, or dust control system depending on the kind of work being done. Moving a grown tree is a bit like relocating a small piece of the landscape and asking it not to complain about the trip. That is the kind of job this truck mounted is made to do. It is the largest model in Dutchman Industries lineup. So it sits on the bigger end of professional tree moving equipment. Instead of being something for small transplanting work, it is meant for larger trees that need a serious machine behind them. Dutchman says it can take on trees with trunks up to about 12 in thick, which puts it in the range of landscape stock. What makes it interesting is the way it works. The curved blades go down around the tree, cut into the soil, and lift out a large root ball so more of the root system stays together during the move. That matters because when a tree is transplanted, keeping massive soil around the roots can help the tree adjust better in its new music location. The machine also includes a circular frame, which gives more room around trees with low and wide branches. Dutchman also points to several structural details that shape how the machine operates. The blades are cold formed and the company connects that with longer blade life. The numbers help show how substantial this is. The root ball measures 100 in across and 61 in deep while working height is 116 inches. Weight is another big part of the picture. The spade itself is about 11,100 pounds. The load and neck adds around 700 pounds. The root ball can reach about 13,500 pounds and total weight is about 25,300 pounds. To be honest, moving huge equipment down a public road through city traffic is really hard. That is where something like the Faymonvillr highwayMAX range starts to make sense. Instead of being one single trailer, it is a group of heavy haul trailers made for large and overweight cargo in the US and Canada. The highwayMAX 1 is the entry point in the family and it already comes across as a very serious piece of equipment. It uses pendula axles with a long hydraulic stroke along with kingpin steering and counter-steered axles which helps it turn more effectively. It also has remote steering override, a compensating gooseneck with fifth wheel load adjustment, liftable axles, hydraulic axle compensation. The stretch deck reaches 89 feet. Axle group spacing can be adjusted up to 22 feet 6 in. In terms of carrying ability, it has a legal payload of more than 174,000 pounds. The highwayMAX Music 2 takes that setup further by adding a 3-axle pinion nitro booster that changes it into a 12-axle single drop trailer and pushes legal payload close to 205,000 pounds. It also includes a reinforced spine, a self-tracking pivot booster with an extra steering music cylinder, kingpin steering on the main trailer, and separate power packs music on both the trailer and booster. The highwayMAX 3 is the heavier standard version using 9 hydraulically steered pendle axles together with a 3-axle Jeep dolly music and a 3-axle nitro booster. With the truck included, the full setup becomes a 19-axle combination with a legal payload of about 240,000. This trailer keeps things practical by focusing on low loading height. At the front, the hydraulic lifting platform makes it music possible to load equipment closer to the gooseneck, which helps when carrying machines. That front section can support up to 9.9 tons in lifting equipment use. The gooseneck uses Faymonvillr's outer beam neck setup, which has a bolted outer beam structure. This gives different options for shape, length, and turning space, so fleets can match the trailer more closely to the tractor unit and the type of machine being moved. Technical fifth wheel loads music range from 13 to 33 tons. There is also a choice of versions with or without a rear chamfer. At the back, the trailer can be fitted with single or double hydraulic ramps. The newer flip tail section adds 9.8 feet of loading space when used flat, and when folded up, it shortens the vehicle by 7.9 feet. It can carry up to 11 tons, works with a 9 degrees drive-on angle, and its hydraulic functions can be controlled remotely. What stands music out here is how the trailer makes loading more efficient without turning into something overly complicated. It keeps weight down while still offering strong point load capability, which helps leave more room for payload. When something goes wrong with an aircraft, crews need a safe way to get inside fast and help people get out. That is where the Rosenbauer E5000 comes in. It is a specialized airport rescue vehicle that gives emergency teams direct access to the cabin music and also provides passengers with another way to leave the aircraft. It can reach door heights from about 8.2 to 18 feet, which means it works with many common aircraft types. Rosenbauer says that it covers around 92% of standard aircraft music doors. One helpful part of the design is the low platform edge above the driver's cab, which helps the stairs line up with doors on short and medium-range aircraft. The E5000 is also made to keep operations simple. One person can control it through Rosenbauer's control system. The operator selects the aircraft type and door height. Then the stair unit moves into place after a safety check and can be adjusted more music precisely from there. It also includes a hydraulic jack system with automatic level compensation and regulation, so it can be set up properly even when the surface is not perfectly level. The staircase is about 4.9 feet wide and the steps stay horizontal through a mechanical leveling system. Lighting is added along the stairway which helps during the night. Some machines arrive like quiet music specialists rather than attention seekers, and this one fits that idea well. Instead of trying to impress through size alone, it stands out through the kind of work it is meant to carry out. From a neutral technical perspective, it appears to be a custom truck-mounted excavator created for ditch cleaning, shoulder maintenance, and slope trimming. What makes it interesting is the way it combines road travel with excavation work in one machine. Rather than relying on a separate hauling setup between locations, it can move from side to side under its own power, which suits maintenance operations spread across multiple roadside areas. It also appears to be a specialized conversion rather than a standard production excavator. Available information connects it with Echle Hardstyle, a company known for custom construction work on heavy equipment. Music that context suggests the machine was developed around a specific maintenance role instead of following the pattern of a general-purpose excavator. It is also presented as a machine that can work in narrow music roadside zones such as areas near guardrails, medians, and overgrown embankments. The machine's role centers music on drainage ditch creation and upkeep, roadside grading, shoulder rebuilding, and verge clearing. In those applications, the rotating upper structure and hydraulic system allow attachments to be positioned with precision during work. Looking at the Pavelli Semitrailer range, it becomes clear that this is not one single trailer with one fixed setup. It is a group of semi-trailers that can be arranged in different ways music depending on the kind of cargo being moved. The range includes curtain sider, low bed, flatbed, vehicle transport, music and special transport versions. So, it covers a wide variety of transport music jobs. A Pavelli semi-trail can come with either a straight frame or a gooseneck frame. Music that choice changes things like deck height and how the trailer moves with the tractor. The company also offers different fifth wheel heights. Axle options include BPW or SAF units with capacities of up to about 13.2 tons per axle, which places these trailers in the heavy transport category. Music. There are also several suspension music choices. These include pneumatic suspension, hydraulic panogram RAF suspension, and hydraulic suspension with knee movement. In simple terms, this gives the music trailer more flexibility when loading machinery or large industrial equipment. Lift axles can also be added, which can music help with tire wear and make the trailer easier to move when it is carrying less weight. When it comes to loading equipment, Pavelli offers a long list of options. These can include manual or hydraulic rear ramps, ramp widening or narrowing music systems, movable hydraulic platforms, anchor rings, hooks, aluminum side containment and lowering music inserts. The hydraulic system can run from an electric pump or from the tractor's PTO. Some versions can also be fitted with electric or hydraulic winches of music up to about 16.5 tons, often with radio remote control. Music. This detachable towing unit offers solid capability for medium to heavy-duty recovery work. It has a 20-ton boom capacity, a 20-ton tow capacity, and a maximum boom lift angle of 43 degrees. The 3-stage underlift can lift 22,000 pounds. Standard equipment includes dual steel toolboxes, 1 set of fork adapters, 4 sets of frame forks, and safety and tie-down chains. There is also a long list of available options such as wireless remote control, extra frame forks, single and dual tire wheel lift receivers, a full recovery tool package, custom storage music systems, extendable rear jack legs, in-cab controls, air and electrical outputs at the tailboard. In simple terms, this unit lets a suitable truck work as a tow and recovery vehicle without staying in that role all the time. It can be attached when towing work comes up and removed when the truck is needed for something else. That makes it a practical music choice for fleets that want towing ability while still keeping the truck available for other jobs. From a technical point of view, the unit combines strong lifting power, useful underlift reach, and good towing geometry music for moving disabled commercial vehicles. The worm gear hydraulic winch adds controlled pulling power during music recovery work. Another important point is that this is a modular system, so the exact setup can vary depending on the production year or the customer order. Next one is a large track dumper made to move a lot of material in places where normal wheeled machines can struggle. It uses a 6-cylinder water-cooled diesel engine with 241 horsepower. It meets Stage 5 emission standards. It has 2 speed ranges, 0 to 5 miles per hour in Speed 1 and 0 to 9.3 miles per hour in Speed 2. What really matters with a machine like this is how it works on soft and wet, steep ground. Since it runs on tracks instead of wheels, the machine spreads its weight over a larger area. That helps lower ground pressure and gives it more grip where a wheeled dumper might start slipping. The low center of gravity also helps it stay more stable while dumping material. There are 2 body versions. The rear tip model weighs 31,000 pounds and carries up to 22,000 pounds. It measures 19 feet long, 9.5 feet wide, and 11 feet high. The swivel tip version is a little heavier at 32,700 pounds, but it keeps the same payload and body capacity. The rear tip version makes sense for simple haul and dump work. The swivel tip version is more useful when material needs to be placed more carefully, especially when there is not much room around the dump area. A high-capacity trailer with a 30-ton payload. When fitted with the optional bolt-on extension, heaped volume increases to 49 cubic yards. Published dimensions include a 30 feet 9 in frame length, a 21 feet tub length. The hinge assembly uses self-aligning spherical bearings, and includes grease points for service. The standard hitch uses a 2-in drawbar pin, while scraper-type adapters are available. This off-road trailer is used in construction, site preparation, and agriculture where high-volume material movement is needed. Its side dump layout allows unloading to either side, which helps when site conditions limit the usefulness of rear dumping. It also supports windrowing and controlled stockpiling, giving operators more precision in where material is placed. A hydraulic front hitch with a stronger shaft and a linear shock absorber contributes to ride quality, and suspension revisions help reduce movement after crossing difficult terrain. Next vehicle came from a joint development effort between Gaussian and PSA, and it was introduced in 2017 as part of Singapore's push toward cleaner and more automated port operations. What stands out most is the mix of self-driving capability, electric power, zero local emissions, and fast charging. It can carry about 71 tons and travel at around 15 mph. Its job is to move shipping containers between storage areas inside the port. In PSA Singapore setup, it also uses an ultra-fast charging system made for the demanding conditions of a marine terminal. The charging system is enclosed, waterproof, and uses automatic connection and disconnection, which helps reduce service needs. Reports from PSA's case study say the vehicle can work for about 4 to 5 hours after less than 20 minutes of charging. The system also allows quick battery pack changes during maintenance, which helps keep the vehicles in service longer. It is not something made only to attract attention at an event. It was meant to do real work inside PSA Singapore's Tours Megaport project. Since ports like this rely on constant movement and careful timing, a driverless electric vehicle like this fits well into that kind of setup. This is a small battery electric track dumper made by Bergmann Maschinenbau in Germany. And it is the sort of equipment that makes sense the moment you see where it is supposed to work. It is made for moving material in places where space music is limited, like gardens, nurseries, parks, and smaller construction areas. Music. What stands out right away is that it works quietly and produces no emissions. Another thing that gives it a lot of character is the tracked undercarriage. Instead of wheels, music, it moves on tracks, which helps it travel across difficult surfaces. Its narrow shape also helps in courtyards, along walkways, and in other areas where a larger machine would feel harder to move around. There are 3 versions and each one does the same basic job in a slightly different way. The front tipper is the simplest version music and is meant for carrying material like soil, gravel, sand, green waste. The high tipper adds more dump height, which is useful when material music needs to be emptied over a higher edge. The self-loader adds a loading unit so it can pick up, carry, music and unload material in one cycle. All 3 versions use a 12 music cubic foot skip and weigh about 1,12 lb. The front tipper and self-loader can carry about 1,764 pounds while the high tipper can carry about 1,543 pounds. Haul more in a single trailer with a standard CDL, declares the company. And this trailer is all about moving a lot of material in one trip. It has a 6-axle setup, a 53 feet frame, and a 40 feet tub. So, it is clearly made to carry serious volume. Music. The body is 102 in wide with a height of 8 feet 7 inches in at the tub music side and 9 feet 7 in at the center. Its axle setup combines 3 fixed music 25,000 pounds axles with 3 13,200 pounds Ridewell music Airride steerable lift axles. Airride suspension comes standard. For dumping, it uses 3,500 SI cylinders with 6 in balls mounted at both ends of the tub instead music of the middle. That setup allows the tub position on the frame to be adjusted to help with axle balance and legal payload distribution. The tub has a one-piece floor, music rounded corners, and external column supports. It also has no center divider, which helps material move out with less hang-up when unloading. What stands out most is that it can haul up to 37.4 tons in one trailer. It can dump to either side and it can also stockpile or windrow material. Music. Here we have an electronic air suspension system used on commercial vehicles such as trucks, trailers, buses, and some other work vehicles that use air suspension. It runs on a 24V system and works with parts like an electronic control unit, height sensors, solenoid valve blocks, air lines, music air springs, wiring, driver controls, and diagnostic tools. Depending on the vehicle, it can be set up for 1 axle, 2 axles, or more. In some cases, it can also connect with other vehicle systems through a CAN network. It can control ride height automatically, music raise or lower the vehicle when needed, store selected height positions, adjust height based on music speed, returns a normal driving height, and help technicians find faults during service. Music. In simple terms, this system helps the vehicle stay at the right height when the load changes. Instead of relying only on mechanical parts, it uses sensors and electronic controls to check how high or low the chassis music is sitting. The control unit reads that information and tells the air suspension when to add air or let air out. That way, the vehicle can return to the height it is supposed to have. When more cargo is added, the chassis drops lower, so the system puts more air into the suspension to bring it back up. Music. Some loads are like trying to fit a giant puzzle piece onto a trailer. Don't worry, we have the perfect equipment for music that load. Instead of being a standard low bed with everything centered in a familiar way, this version is more about adjusting the trailer to the shape of the cargo. The phrase laterally offset with inclined music frame structure sounds complicated, but the basic idea is not too hard to follow. It means the loading deck is shifted a bit to one side instead of sitting perfectly in the middle, and the frame is arranged at an angle. That angled frame also helps the load sit lower on one side or match the shape of the freight more closely. For very tall or awkward industrial parts, that can make a real difference, because even a small drop in loading height can matter on the road. It is the kind of setup that makes more sense for special transport work than for general hauling. This is why it fits loads like industrial machinery, rail vehicles, wind turbine tower sections, construction equipment, and vessels. As for the technical side, the Megox uses a removable gooseneck, a low bed deck, and a bogie with 1 to 5 axles. It can also be paired with an optional 1 or 2 axle dolly when better weight distribution is needed. Music.